Hello, Realtors, and welcome to the SCR Update, your go-to source for what's happening in the world of real estate and how it impacts you and your business. This is episode 382. Today is January 20th, 2026, and as always, I'm your real estate influencer and host, Nick Kremydas, CEO of the South Carolina REALTORs. I threw that influencer line in for just for Keon Aldridge, Mike. It's a cold, blustery winter day here in South Carolina. So grab your coffee and let's jump straight into what you need to know, for this week. So let's, talk about, the market and what's happening here, in the early part of January. So it looks like we are officially in the year of what we're calling the Great Reset. You know, after the roller coaster of the pandemic years, the biggest story right now is stabilization. National inventory is creeping up, and price growth has flattened to a boring but healthy 2 to 4% range. And this is the headline that helps calm realtors' nerves, because you know the crash that everyone, well, not everyone, a few predicted after the frenzy of the pandemic didn't happen. You know, we told you repeatedly that none of those metrics from 2009, 2010 applied to the economic conditions of where we are today. And we're entering into a period where negotiation is back, inspections are standard, and homes are sitting on the market for a little bit longer than they have been. So, realtors, if your clients have been waiting for the bottom to fall out, they're going to miss out, and you just cannot expect the pre-pandemic prices to come back. It's just not going to happen. We just haven't seen the new inventory come in that would create any kind of glut or oversaturation in the market. 2026 is shaping up to be the year of the normal market, and I'm saying that boring is good. This is actually good news. Let's dive into what you may have read in some recent headlines, that the South Carolina foreclosure scare is here. And I'm going to explain why it's really fake news. So you may have seen in the publications that South Carolina is currently the number 3 state in the nation for foreclosures, but don't panic. Yes, filings are up. It's about 1 in every 242 homes. I think that's according to Realtor.com data. And we are seeing a spike in filings in counties like Richland County and Dorchester County. But this is not 2008. This is simply a small pressure release valve, not a dam breaking. Banks are processing a 3-year backlog of silent distress from the moratorium era. During the pandemic, as you know, foreclosures were put on hold as lenders worked with individuals because of all of the economic upturn and chaos that was created. So this inventory that's coming on the market is helping address some of the inventory issues that we've had. These foreclosures are hitting the market and being absorbed instantly by investors, first-time buyers who, you know, we've been starved for inventory under that $300,000 level. And so don't let these headlines scare you. You know, the actual percentage rate, Mike, of foreclosures is something like 0.4%. If you look at you've got to keep these numbers in perspective. If you look at the 20, 30, 40-year average for foreclosures in South Carolina, it's about 1.5, 1.4, 1.5%. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, so don't quote me anybody, but it's almost 3 or 4 times higher than what we're seeing right now. So while, yes, foreclosures are on the rise, they're still way below historic norms, and certainly no cause for panic. Certainly no sign that the market is collapsing. And in many states, these increases are helping address affordable inventory. So let's bring it a little bit closer to home. The legislature kicked off the second half of the 126th General Assembly last week, and our team was on the ground working hard on day one. For the last few months, there have been meetings across the state. The DOT, the Department of Transportation, has held many public hearings. They even met with me and our staff here at SCR, addressing what they're trying to fix with infrastructure financing problems, meaning they need more money to do the road repair, to build the new roads and highways and byways that are needed as the state continues to grow and continues to lead the country in economic development in a number of different categories. So one of these ideas that the DOT had was to, one of the ideas they had to increase their revenue was to impose what they were calling a congestion fee. And realtors, this is just a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is an impact fee by another name. But this time, instead of being imposed by your local government, this would be imposed at a statewide level on all new single-family and multifamily construction. You know, and I know what has happened to the cost of a home just in the last 6 years. And adding another fee, adding another tax, adding another cost to home ownership isn't a sustainable model right now in South Carolina. So legislation that the DOT has been supporting was introduced last week. However, thanks to our lobbying team efforts, it did not include a new congestion fee. So that was some good news from the legislature last week. And today, actually, they are considering an interesting proposal to help seniors in South Carolina stay in their homes. As you know, the homestead exemption in South Carolina hasn't been increased for a long, long time, and certainly hasn't been indexed for inflation or anything like that. And currently, when you turn 65, you can exempt $50,000 of your home's value. Well, excuse me, there's legislation that's being considered today that would double the exemption from 50 to 100,000 and reduce, lower the age that you could take advantage of that from 65 to 60. Some great common sense ideas to help seniors maintain their homes in South Carolina, as we've seen prices just go through the roof over the last 5 or 6 years. And folks on fixed incomes, you know, their fixed incomes are not appreciating at the same rate their homes are. So this is good news. It seems that I think the state newspaper reported that the county association was supporting this legislation, and I believe that this might have some legs and actually get done this session. So good news as the session starts. Please make sure that you watch Lindsay, our Chief Advocacy Officer, watch her updates that are produced every week by our own director here, Mike, who does what he can with me here at the SCR studios. So, Mike, I think we still have time for one Don't Do That this week. All right, welcome to Don't Do That, where we highlight the common mistakes, ethical slip-ups, and risky business practices that you need to avoid. From compliance headaches to client horror stories, we're here to keep you out of hot water. So let's dive right in. Today we're going to focus on wholesaling and fake power of attorney agreements. I've seen some lazy behaviors that can potentially expose realtors to liability. So let's get into it. So on the legal hotline, we've received copies of these PDF documents that purport to be a power of attorney. It's from a wholesaler these are being prepared by wholesalers in an attempt to get around South Carolina's new wholesaling laws. So with these new wholesaling regulations, papering the deal has become harder. Scammers and and some of these shady operators are increasingly using fraudulent power of attorney documents to sell properties that they don't actually own or control, often targeting vacant land or deceased owners or those that are the most vulnerable. So while, this PDF document may look official, and the ones I've seen are only 1 page long, but in South Carolina, you need to know that a power of attorney for real estate is useless if it isn't recorded, number one, and if it's springing, meaning that it only works if the owner is incapacitated. That doesn't include some kind of doctor's medical report. So here's the red flag checklist that you need to know. Number one, if the POA says effective upon disability and the seller is just busy at work or out of the country, that POA is void. In South Carolina, a POA needs 2 witnesses and a notary. And if you see that it only has 1 witness, which is common in some other states, it's not valid. Send it back. If the document was not prepared by a lawyer or has no law firm letterhead, but it's regarding a deal that's worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, you need to be suspicious. In South Carolina, for a durable POA to be effective for a real estate transaction, it typically needs to be recorded at the Register of Deeds. If they can't produce a document with the filing stamp, you need to be careful. So a power of attorney is not a permission slip to sell grandma's house just because she's hard to reach. If you can't verify the lawyer who wrote it, you're probably not going to close the deal, and you're probably opening yourself up to liability. So here's a little pro tip on how to spot and how to address power of attorneys, POAs. So first, number one, Google the notary. If the document is notarized, Google the notary. Make sure that notary exists in the state where it was signed. Sometimes scammers, you can fake the stamp, you can fake everything these days. Look at the prepared by line. If it's prepared by a law firm, call the law firm. Ask them if they drafted this power of attorney for the name, the party on the call. If the owner is alive but unavailable, ask to have a FaceTime call. If they refuse, you may want to consider walking away. So realtors, don't fall for fake power of attorney agreements. Just don't do that. So before I let you go, thank you for your time today. We have just a few big dates I want to share with you that are coming up. Just next week, SCR is providing leadership training virtually across the state for all of our local association leadership, board of directors, and I believe committee chairs and vice chairs have all been invited. The event is being hosted by the great Adorna Carroll, and we all love her wit and wisdom, and look forward to that next Monday. And we just rolled out the registration for Capital Conference. We're calling it. We're updating. Sorry, Mike. We've updated the name. We're rebranding Capital Conference to Realtor Legislative Meetings, RLM. That's going to be March the 3rd and 4th. And Mike, if you can put on the screen or in the comments the registration link. So, realtors, thanks again for tuning in. It's going to be a cold week. There's I guess we all need to run out and get our milk and bread because they're calling for a snowstorm this weekend. 4 inches of snow in the upstate is what I've heard. That is cataclysmic for South Carolina. I don't think anyone in this state owns a snow shovel or a snow blower or any of those things. And frankly, I wouldn't know what to do with either one of those items if I actually owned one. So to our friends from the north, please send your advice because it looks like we may be hunkered in for a few days this weekend. Realtors, stay warm, stay realtor strong, and we'll see you again next week. Take care.